It seems clear how it happened. The master tried to trap the doctor in the APC net by overloading the neuron fields. Then he collapsed and died, leaving Chancellor Goth still connected into the circuit.
Natural causes?
Yes, sir. His body was extremely emaciated. He had come to the end of his regeneration cycle.
No.
No what, Cardinal?
The story is not acceptable. This is a very difficult, very delicate position. We must adjust the truth.
In what way, Cardinal?
In a way that will maintain public confidence in the Time Lords and their leadership.
I've kept you waiting, Chancellor. I've kept you waiting, Chancellor.
I'm quite comfortable, thank you.
Good. I had nothing to do with this, I promise you.
How many people have seen this master since his death?
Apart from ourselves, Hilred and the two guards who took the body to the panopticon vault.
Then we shall rely on their silence. We shall change the appearance of the corpse, Castellan. We all know the posthumous effect of a staser bolt. Within the hour, the body will be charred beyond recognition. Our story is going to be that the master arrived in Gallifrey to assassinate the president, secretly. Before he could escape, Chancellor Goth tracked him down and killed him, unfortunately perishing himself in the exchange of fire. Now, that's much better. I can believe that.
You're making Goth into a hero?
If heroes don't exist, it is necessary to invent them. Good for public morale.
And the Doctor's part in all this?
Best forgotten. Of course, Doctor, the charge against you will be dropped.
How come?
Conditional on your leaving Gallifrey tonight.
Somehow, Cardinal, I don't want to stay.
Good. I believe you know something of the Master's past.
We've bumped into each other from time to time.
Then before you leave, you can assist Coordinator Engin to compile a new biog of him. It doesn't have to be entirely accurate.
Like Time Lord history.
A few facts, Coordinator, will lend it verisimilitude. We cannot make the Master into a public enemy if there is no data on him.
I can have an authentic-seeming data extract ready by morning, Cardinal.
I'll leave that to you, then. Later, Castellan, we must take another look at data security. We cannot have Time Lord DE simply vanishing from the record.
I agree, sir.
Well, I think that's all. You'll attend immediately to the cosmetic treatment.
Sorry?
The body, Castellan.
Only in mathematics will we find truth.
What?
Borusa used to say that during my time at the Academy. But now he's setting out to prove it.
The class leader of these ships was in fact Olympic. Very, very famous ship in her time, the biggest ship in the world, the largest man-made moving object on Earth. All the rest of it, that was all applied to Olympic. Titanic was the second of the class.
John Parkinson's father worked as a carpenter on both ships, and John is perhaps the last man alive to have seen the Titanic.
Oh, it was a wonderful, wonderful experience. See, I was just a wee boy, between 5 and 6 years of age when I saw it. My father brought me down here on a Sunday afternoon, and he took me round to see it. And there it was when I looked at it. I was afraid in case it would fall on me. It was so big, it seemed to reach the sky.
And what did the Olympic look like?
Oh, it was a lovely ship too. You'd hardly known the difference between the two. They were sisters, you see. Aye, very like each other.
Then John told me something that intrigued me.
Oh yes, there were rumours that the ships had been switched and all sorts of things. And
So this theory's been around for a very long time.
it has, yes.
Do you remember anyone saying it to you back in the old days?
Oh yes, you hear wee bits of rumours about that, you know. But that was a lot of nonsense. It was the Titanic.
It was clear the conspiracy theory was as old as the disaster itself. And although John was dismissive, I was curious. I wondered what secrets might lie hidden in Belfast.
If you can call land up there, Sean.
Jerry Anderson has his finger on the pulse of Northern Ireland. If I wanted to reach the people of Belfast, I knew he was my man.
Earlier on today, I mentioned the fact we're going to be talking about Titanic. I've got two gentlemen with me who are from a station, a TV station that is not the BBC, and they're making a programme about the Titanic. What's the crack?
Well, it's basically about Titanic conspiracy theories, and there's one main theory we're looking at, and that is that the Titanic wasn't the Titanic at all.
Right.
Now, you're looking at me like I might be a bit odd.
No, I know you look a bit, but that's neither here nor there.
I promise you there's more to it. Essentially, the Titanic, and I'm sure many of your listeners are aware of this, had a sister ship called the Olympic. And the people in charge came up with a plan, and that was to swap the Olympic with the Titanic.
All right, so the ideal thing for you would be if someone rang in this programme today and said, listen, funny enough, I remember my grandfather coming into me and saying, do you know what happened last night? I came out to work for the Titanic, and it was a different ship.
Exactly, yeah, no, that would be absolutely perfect. You know, I'm not pinning my hopes on it. Absolutely.
Someone on the line here already, I don't know who it is. Jim? Good morning, Jim.
Good morning.
Yes, Jim, have you any connection with the Titanic at all?
My partner's grandfather actually worked and built the Titanic. Basically, it wasn't Titanic, it sank.
It wasn't, did you say?
Yep.
Wow, how do you know that?
It's the Olympic, it sank. He swore on, I think, the sister ship.
Are you serious?
Yep. The White Star Line, there were financial difficulties, and that's the only way they could claim and get themselves back on track.
I mean, that seems to go with what I've been hearing. I was hearing that the White Star had some financial difficulties, especially with the Olympic, so they couldn't get any insurance money for the Olympic, so that's when the swap took place. Does that kind of fit with what?
Yes, it does.
Right.
This was becoming more intriguing by the minute.
Johnson wanted to get on board. Captain, he said
I had nothing to do with this, I promise you. Chancellor, you know about the Board of Rassilon.
Yeah.
And you know about the sash of Rassilon.
Yeah.
And especially, you know about the Great Key.
Yeah.
Therefore, it would be very bad for us if you were to fall into the hands of the Santarans. No breeding, you see.
It's not just a question of breeding, surely.
Oh, but it is. It is, I assure you, Chancellor, it is. They're a clone species, you see. They can multiply at the rate of 1 million every 4 minutes. Shall we go?
I think so.
Good.